Hello everybody, and thank you for coming back to the channel. So the plan for this video is to show you the undercarriage, but I still have not actually thought up how I'm going to do it. So let's go bit by bit. I'll update you on what progress I have so far. So as you might see, I've already put in the push rods. Here are the two push rods, one for the elevator, one for the rudder, that go all the way up here, in theory, up to the, you can see there, yeah, up to the ESC. So those are kind of in place, at least measured out and cut. I have to connect them. I've also put in the lower part of the fuselage frame formers, as you might see, these. As I've turned more and more paranoid about weight in the tail, I've used 1mm sheets here, and then as I cut them forward, I put in the 1.5 of the design. So the plan still for this time will be to do actually the whole lower part. For the battery cover, I've decided in the end to go with a battery cover on the bottom, not to put it in through the front as I was thinking. This is upside down, by the way, in case you didn't realize that. I'll be building a battery cover that goes from the nose or the rear of the forward turret back to here. So what I've done already, I've cut out the formers, I've put in some magnets. So let's see, you see there the magnet, and this should, if it goes well, just fit in there. So I still have to build in that cover, which is in itself a project of its own, but a fun one. And then I'll have to start to glue then the rear, I mean the stabilizer and the elevator. But let me show you how I designed then the rear landing gear. So I want to have, as in the Mosquito, the rear, the rudder actually to steer also the wheel for some control on the ground. So what I do, I take a paper clip, and I'm going to put it here so you can see it, and I bend it to the dimensions and kind of shape that I think I'm going to need. And if I go bit by bit, just so that you see, this bit here, let me point it like that, this bit here is the one that's going to actually move the rudder itself. Then it's going to go down. I need something there so that it doesn't slip up and down. Then this little arm here, this is going to be the one that connects to the push rod, this one, to move it backwards and forwards, and like that also right and left. And then this is where actually then the wheel will go on. You can't see it now, so it's bent in like this. And this, the equivalent of this, will then actually go in somehow like this. You can't see it, but anyhow, this is the mock-up. This is kind of a template that I do with a paper clip because it's easy to fold around or bend easier. And then I come with the wire, with the real wire, and I bend it like this, and I hope it's going to be able to hold. So this is where the wheel will eventually mount. I don't know if I'll put an axle or not. This is the part that's actually going to move, it's going to connect to the push rod, and this other side that you see here is what's going to keep it in place. I see now it's a bit crooked, so I might need to straighten it up, and this eventually will bend up and then go into the rudder that it actually turns. So that's actually the rear landing gear. In order to install it, I think I need to probably put in place the stabilizer. It's not going to be so easy, but I'll see. I'll probably have to do some more work there and get it done. Then the big challenge for the chapter, and I'll get back to it, I'm sure, is going to be the main landing gear. How to do it, that I can put it in, put it out, fold it up, fold it down, and that's going to be then the big challenge. But that's the plan for this one. So let's see how it goes. Not sure how it will go, but follow along. And a bit of progress on the Wellington. What I'm doing here, I'm building up the nose cover, and I have here the nose cover, let's say the battery cover for the Mosquito that's a bit damaged, so I'm kind of pretending to myself that I'm doing a restoration, but no, like, probably would be better maybe to just uncover it and cover it up again completely. This is the one for the Wellington, very similar in size. I've also prepared the keel, I think it would be called, what goes right underneath, and it could also already be glued in place, so that might be one of the next steps, and that will give it a bit of solidity from that perspective. This is where the cover will be going, and what I'm somehow pushing away is connecting the push rods to the rudder. I'm not sure why, I'm a bit afraid of it, so I'm pushing it away. I shouldn't be doing that. And then the other point that I'm doing, I'm preparing the landing gear, and I got some nice tips from some of you on the YouTube channel, so thank you very much for that. So I've made a mock-up with some paper clips, and this in theory will be sitting in here, and then let me get things out of the way, and then this may be connected with some tubes and make it be able to go up and down. I'm putting a little bit higher, I think, than on the plan, because I'm a bit afraid of clearing with the propellers. You see I have a broken propeller there to make sure that it does clear, but I still have to think of a way of locking it in place so that it doesn't fall either forwards nor backwards. So I'm still thinking about that, but I'll come up with a solution. I have a couple of ideas, so let's see how that goes. So that's the progress so far: landing gear, underside of the fuselage, and connection of the tail and the battery cover. So hopefully more progress on the next update. So here's the update on the development of the landing gear, and this, as I mentioned, it's a development on one of the thought bubbles that Richard Tapp sent me on one of the comments, so thank you, Richard, for that. What I've put here in place, I've got like a small plastic tube that I've cut out in half in a way that I'll think how to fix this into the underside of the nacelle. Glue might not be enough, so maybe some wires. I might do the final tube made with aluminium or something like that, but for the moment the plastic is the testing. And this is done in a way that hopefully, if I squeeze this, maybe I'll take it out from here so you can see it, that I can squeeze the wires and basically, let's see if we can come out with one hand, is difficult, and basically remove the tube, right? So now it's not working, but I think you get the concept. So I would squeeze it and remove the tube and actually remove the landing gear from the mount that it would have here. So that is, as I say, this thought bubble development on the thought bubble from Richard. How I'll fix it is I think maybe a wire, not just glue. And then the next challenge is that once it's in the, let's say, in the down position, how to keep it without going either forwards or backwards. So I'm thinking of putting in another wire holding it in place that goes into the rear of the engine nacelle. So that's the next challenge, but some progress. That's some progress. And on the other front of the cover, the battery cover is progressing well, which is good. So let's see how it goes. So finally I figured out how to put this on and how to build it. So I'm not sure if you can be seeing, but with a wire I've built up this structure, and the structure actually fits into those tubes in there. Actually the wire, both wires go through the axle, but as it's encased in a little tube of plastic, then it rolls okay. Let me show you. You can see, as you can see, the glue is still setting, so it's not completely dry. And I've also taken care that there's enough clearance, maybe the background is not the best, but that there's enough clearance also, because I know that it's going to be a rough runway if this hopefully ever tries to take off. So I'm happy that I managed to figure it out. Yeah, it's not completely straight, it could be better, I'm sure, but at least I've figured that out. I'm preparing also the other landing gear. Here it is, but I ran out of wire. This is 1mm wire. So it's a bit stronger than what I'm used to using, and with that, actually, so one wheel in place, and actually, well, the plan would be that I can take it off. I need both hands, of course. I need to put it upside down and take it off, and I could even retract it, and then I just need to think up how I would hold it in place. But that's at least the plan. If anybody had figured this out before, then why didn't you tell me? Because really I spent like hours and evenings and nights thinking about how to solve this, but I'm happy with the solution. What I'll be doing also on the tubing, I'll put in some reinforcements with wire, same as I've done here. Let's see if you can see it. Here I've put some wire to try to hold that in place, and I'll be putting also some wires in here, like going through the wood, because that's going to take quite a lot of a hit, I'm afraid. So that's that so far. And then what else I've been up to, as I don't have enough wire for the other wheel, I have to go and buy it. What I built myself was a balsa stripper. Do I need it? Not really, but it's nice to do. So basically this, what it does, I've put in there like a 1.5mm gap, I don't know if you can see it because it's not in focus, to be able to cut some strips out of the 1mm thick balsa, and I've cut out some of the strips already that I'll be using basically for the bottom and the top of the fuselage. So these are relatively long pieces, 1mm thick and like 1.5 wide. I think it'll give it enough structure, enough solidity, I'm going to say. My worry is weight, of course, here. So still quite a few things to do. The other landing gear, connect the servos that I haven't done yet. As you see, the hatch is kind of finished, so still stuff to do, but I'm happy so far. So I'll come back once more when hopefully it's standing on its wheels, and that means a test run. Let's see. So it's high time to close off this chapter already because it always drags on too long. I've put in the landing gear and I've got two setups. If you see this one here, which is very high, would be if potentially it gets to actually fly and take off from the ground. And then this other setup is more realistic, where the Wellington is sitting much closer to the ground or standing much closer to the ground as a, let's say, more scale looking. So I've put in another tube there in the back. That's a plastic one, so I have that option, one for static display and one for actually flying, if it flies with the landing gear. The good thing, what I'm happy about, is that the landing gear can be removed, so if it's too heavy or causes too much drag, I can put it off, take it off without any issue. Actually, I'm thinking I might do this same structure for the, I'm going to retrofit it to the Mosquito, which if you followed on that one, gave me quite a bit of problems when flying. So that is the progress so far on that one. Landing, the rear tail wheel is not on yet, but the wire is there and ready for that, and I've connected already the servos, so maybe next time I'll also show you a bit of a run up and let's see what it looks like. So in any case, thank you everybody for following on this one. A bit of a battle, at least for myself. Thank you for all the ideas that I've received so far, and I'll see you next time.